Dr. Cox, who got sick. They took care of him. He got better. He went on about his way. Ibrahim grew up in his father's army and became a captain. Fought in quite a few battles, but in one battle he lost and got captured and was sold and wound up in Natchez, Mississippi, as we talked about earlier, the same area where these Moriscos was. He wound up in Natchez, Mississippi. Grew up in the plantation system, became a plantation manager or a leader. And then he had some freedom of movement. He was enslaved for 40 years. Then one day he went downtown to sell his vegetables with him and his brother Sambo. And this doctor, this is the power of God, the power of Allah. 40 years later in Natchez, Mississippi, that doctor that they took care of 40 years ago, saw him, recognized him, and Abdul Rahman saw him recognize each other. He was very instrumental in getting his freedom. John Quincy Adams was also involved, and Henry Clay, the Secretary of State, was involved. Abdul Rahman left 2 letters in Arabic. This is one saying that my name is Abdul Rahman. I was born in Timbuktu. I lived in the city until I was 5, then I moved into the capital. And this was written in 1828. This letter is housed in Yale University today. This letter is the Al-Fatiha. It has the salutations to the Prophet, and it also says where the surah was revealed at. This letter is was done also in 1828. It's housed in Philadelphia Historical Society. All these different personalities that we find throughout America are very unique. Another personality we find in the 1800s is Omar ibn Said. Omar ibn Said is one of the most prolific writers. He wrote there's over 11 different letters that are written that he did in Arabic. He was also a Sufi scholar. He also left his autobiography, all in Arabic, stating who was his sheikh, who was his teachers, all his education. And he was also a Haji before he was enslaved and captured. So you find there's many of these personalities had personality of dignity. They kept their faith no matter how ugly or how hard things was. They still kept their faith in Allah and trust in Allah. And they eventually got their freedom or some freedom of movement. The first Muslim that we're aware of to come to the United States from the East Africa was Ahmed ibn Numan al-Bahraini, who came from Zanzibar. This picture hangs up in New York City City Hall on the 3rd floor in his art commission office. He came over here on a journey for a trade mission, and it wasn't such a successful one in the 1840s, but they admired him, so they took this painting of him, and it still hangs up there today. Algiers also had an early treaty with the United States. This is one of the copies of the treaties, translation of the treaties. Out of the 10 international treaties, 5 of them was done with Muslim countries, Morocco being the first of the Muslim countries, and the 6th country to sign a peace treaty. Then you have Algiers, Libya, Tunisia, and Muscat. These are the first early Muslims that signed peace treaties with the United States. Now, we also found this Muslim personality, there's this family Muhammad. This is one of our most recent finds in the 1850s. This is his 1850 census. He was a free man. His name was Jeremiah Muhammad, and you see that he's listed him as black. The only ones that was free. This is the area of Fredericksburg, Maryland, where the Civil War happened. This Muslim family that lived there. This is one of the tombstones of his grandson that we found. That they still maintain the name Muhammad. This is a letter that was his obituary in the newspaper. There was many people that was fond of him when he passed. We also found that one of his descendants moved to Nebraska. They did a cake mix called Omar Cake Mix. This is a newspaper advertisement in the 40s for Omar Cake Mix. There's some of the descendants still live around today. Then, during the Civil War, Muslims fought in the Civil War. One of the unique stories of the Civil War is that when the Union troops went down to Tuscaloosa, Alabama, they went and burnt down the whole town. They burned down the library. And the librarian said, "Can we save the books?" He said, no, you can't. You can save one book. That librarian ran in, and this is the book that he saved, this Quran. Allah tells us he take care of his word and protect his word. This Quran is still in the University of Tuscaloosa today in Alabama. It says the only book saved from the University Library building was destroyed by fire during the Civil War. Now we had this, this is the first surah, and the second page of the second surah, or the first page of the second surah. What we found in this Quran, we had it on display, was there was 2 maps in there. One map was a genealogical map of the early Arabs and the different Arab tribes, and another map was the early Arabia. and a photo of the early drawings of the Kaaba.
MashaAllah.
We found in this Quran. We found very unique. Another unique thing, as we talked about in the Civil War, we found at least 292 Muslims fought in the Civil War. We found one had the last name Allah. We found 2 had the last name Amin, 4 with the last name Hamid, 52 with the last name Hassan, 120 with the last name Hassan with the O, and we had found 1 with the last name, 2 with the last name Muhammad, and so forth. This is a tombstone of Revolutionary War hero, U.S. United States Colored Troop Ishmael Hall, found in Arlington Cemetery. This here is the U.S. Colored Troops records. This is a record of a brother named Max Hassan. Came straight from Africa, fought in the Civil War. This here is a photo of a brother out of Borno, current day Borno, Nigeria. Story with him is that he was enslaved by Muslims in Morocco, then was sold, wound up going to Europe, Russia, quite a few different countries. They learned 6 different languages. Had enough money to loan the doctor or the ship captain $500 make it to America. When he got free, he had a choice to either go home, back to Africa, or come to America. He chose to come to America. He went and joined the Union troops, got in the medical corps, learned some medical skills. He also became a teacher in the Detroit area. Another plaque that we talked about earlier, some of the towns. We was fortunate to go to one of the towns we don't have a plaque of. This is called Muhammad, Illinois. The story states that there was a tribe called the Ben Ishmael tribe. These were Muslims that are from African runaways, some European Muslims and Spanish Muslims that came together and lived in this area, which we call Indiana. And there's supposed to be 3 towns, one called Morocco, Indiana, Mecca, Indiana, and Muhammad, Illinois. And they're supposed to make migration routes in there. We went into one of those towns in Mecca, Indiana, and this is one of the bridges that they still have called Mecca, Indiana, which was built in 1873. They have at least 2 cemeteries there. Inside one of the cemeteries is called Arabia Cemetery. We found tombstones with the Tawheed, or the one finger on it. This is what we found the Africans doing. Then there's a family cemetery called the Hickson Cemetery. In the Hickson Cemetery, we found some with the Tawheed on it, but we also found those written in Arabic. This is a woman, this is done in old Ottoman script, old Turkish script, done in Arabic. But she died in 1917. She was the wife of a noble Sharif. Then we found these other earlier tombstones. All throughout Indiana. Muslims are part of American fabric.
SubhanAllah, that's amazing, because a lot of people who don't know much about Islam and just have negative things to say, they want to say to us, go back to your country. And when they see something like this, they realize that this is our country.
That's right.
We help build it. That's right.
That's right. Like I also researching back on my mother's side, her family, I found my ancestor that was born free in America in 1790 in Virginia. And when I was looking at their freedom papers in the 1790s, I found a brother named Thomas Hawk, H-A-Q-Q. And we know Hawk is nothing but stands for truth. Living right next door to him. And my family name was Thomas. There was Freemans. And so yes, we are part of the American fabric. Another thing that I try to, we look at, people say that most recently they talked about religion in the Western society. They look at it through 3 windows or 3 doors. One through liberation, another one through transformation, and another one through reconciliation. So I started looking at, how does Muslims fit in those 3 windows in the Western world? Well, Muslims have played a major role in liberation. We fought in American Revolutionary Wars. We talked about quite a few of them. We fought in all the American wars. We had, even during the slavery period, we had Paul Coffey, who was the descendant of a Muslim family, was the first man to bring people back to Africa. We had Muslims petition the government in 1753 from Sali, Morocco,